Am I satisfied? Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really happy with what I've accumulated, or my wife and I have accumulated over the years. But that's kind of why I like advertising, because it's almost like timeless. So like an advertising character from the 50s is just as relevant as it is in the 90s or 2000s. Of course, there's still things I want that I haven't got. And a lot of times when you're a collector, things get more expensive or unavailable. So you have to kind of enjoy what you have. But then there's also that part of your head that's like, it's not what you have, it's what you haven't found yet. So a lot of that keeps you going, you know, on the hunt. I like to buy things I like, whether a matchbook that's $2 or an ad figure that's $1,500. It's not about what it's cost, it's about what does it mean to me or our collection and stuff like that. This is Randy from Tiki Ranch, and these are my top 5, not necessarily in any specific order. This piece here is from a local restaurant called Hobo Joe's, kind of like a Denny's. And we found this at the PCC swap meet probably 35 years ago. And it was negotiating with another guy that wanted to buy it. But my wife said, I have cash, and he was going to write a check. So we ended up getting it over the cash. And so we brought this one home. And he's like a hobo. And then he's got like candy in his pocket. And I guess he would have a stogie there, and he's got his little dog, and that was the ad character for Hobo Joe Restaurant. Yeah, in fact, it's all hand painted. It's got the Wall Street Journal here, and it's got the date hand painted on there. But yeah, it was the guy, if you bought the coffee mugs there, it had him on it in the coffee mug. Another one of the top 5 is this original costume head from the Jack in the Box. So they used to use this at promotions and stuff like that. Actual person would wear it. And then also came with the original costume. And that was at the swap meet on the ground for $5. In my big boy advertising collection, we were out in the middle of Northwood, California. We went to a small little antique show, and then this turned up, 1930s, late 30s, Bob's Big Boy ashtray. Before he actually turned into the one most people see, this was the original that they used to have the kid with the fat belly. So this is like the late 30s, early 40s, they made these, all ceramic. So that was a good buy. I think we paid $35 at the time. That was probably 40 years ago. And so another one in the top 5 was a Christmas gift from my wife a couple years ago, and it's this super rare Dilly Burger character that was a restaurant in Texas, and it's like a fat guy holding a burger. Very few known to exist. There's probably maybe 3 or 4 in collections, and it was nice to have this for his Christmas gift. So another top 5 is I started collecting Marxy figures, which are these characters from Marx, designed by David Dean. And I found out looking at the toys that they made these actual banks And so I was on a hunt to get these. I ended up finding this one first, and then I scored this one on eBay, actually in the original package. And then a fellow collector who's been a collector of Marx's forever showed up at the swap meet, and he said, I brought you something. And so he was able to sell me one of this, which is the last one. So now I have the whole collection. So that was great to get that finished off. My grandfather's business card. I was at a flea market on a Sunday, and I was walking in a booth of a dealer friend of mine, and the lady that was selling next to her was a paper dealer. So I walked around, and there was a big box, like a big hat box full of business cards, vintage business cards. And you know, some of them had graphics. I'm flipping through and I see this one with a donut on it. I think, oh, that's kind of cool. So I pick it up and I look at it, and my whole body got numb. And I looked at it and I re-looked at it. It was my grandfather's business card from his donut shop business. And it was his card. And so I ended up getting it. There's always been a robot called Mito watch company, and they made a robot about that big. And it's always been on my hit list, and I've just never found one. I mean, they're retail around $2,500. And I remember way back before the internet stuff, there was one at the Rose Bowl just in pieces sitting on the ground in like a cardboard tray, and I asked how much it was, and he wanted $1,000 then. I was like, oh, in that time I wasn't really spending a lot of money. So fast forward to about 3 years ago, I was at the Rose Bowl in the dark. I walked by a booth, and he had this really neat, giant mid-century fiberglass lamp. Of course, it was dark, so I thought it was pretty cool. I was sticking my flashlight under the lamp, trying to get a good look at it, and the dealer comes to me, he says, hey, I've got a picture of it lit up, so let me show you what it looks like. I'm like, oh, great. He picks up his phone up, and he pulls up his photos. And he's looking for the photo, and in the top left-hand corner, I see a picture of this robot, the Mito watch robot. And I said, wait a minute. I go, where's that? He goes, oh, it's in the front seat of my car. Really? I go, is it for sale? He's like, yeah, I wasn't gonna put it out till the daytime. I said, how much? And he said, 800. I said, I'll take it. So all that time I waited, I just finally got one. But it was like such a weird thing. And that happens a lot. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this will say it's like divine intervention or something like that, or it's happened a couple times where just a turn of events turn you into something, or you know, when you're at the swap meet, making a left instead of a right, so you just never know. Honorable mention is a spray can that I have. It's a Black Widow killer. And the great story about this was a friend of mine said he had it, and it was in his collection, so he showed it to me, but of course it wasn't available. And then maybe 2 years ago, I was over at his shop picking up something, and I took care of the business, and then he walked out from his garage and he gifted me this can. So thanks, Gary. And with that, I bid you all farewell.
Show's over. Come back tomorrow.